One of the great things we can celebrate was in the newspapers today was the wretched BBC, which has just become a propaganda station for the left-leaning liberal establishment, has been finally overtaken by YouTube this week. So what you and I are doing here on YouTube now as a platform, one of the reasons I think why you and I are doing this is because we believe we have a duty to do it, and there's a reasonable chance it'll be effective. And we would both be banned from the BBC. You'd be banned if they knew about you. I am banned. They do know about me.
So they don't take you on the BBC. Oh, well.
I'm on a blacklist. I did. Can I tell you the story very briefly? I mean,
I'm sure. Yes, let's hear about it. What did you do? Tell us the true story.
I had a very effective radio program. So, I mean, it was pure luck. There was a producer of the Southeastern BBC Faith and Ethics program on Sundays. Her figures were really bad. She went through the interviewees they'd had in the last year, and she said, that voice, give the program to that voice. And that voice happened to be me. So they said, they brought me in. They said, would you like a radio program? And I said, you bet. So they trained me up. They gave me a radio program. The figures went from 10,000 to 100,000 in terms of the listener base. It was very successful. It was 3 hours every Sunday. And people became Christians because I got Christians on to tell their stories of conversion. And the BBC didn't really know what was going on, except there came a point when somebody put two and two together and said, how are we going to stop Ashenden? It's much too successful in terms of, we cannot have Christian propaganda on the BBC like this with people becoming Christians. So the dangerous moment came. I had an annual review. Everyone has an annual review. And then the fourth year, they said, by the way, this is your second annual review. And I said, there's no such thing as a second annual review. You only have, oh, no, we're giving you a second annual review. So this cannot be good news.
Oh, biannually.
Yes, that's right. Yes, no, just a second annual review. So they came in, they said, we want to professionalize your program. I said, yeah, well, so how are we going to do that? That's a great idea. Well, we're worried about the way you read the Bible. We'd like the Bible read in a more professional way. I said, well, I'm quite good at reading the Bible. I've been on stage. I have a good Shakespearean voice, if necessary. No, we're not thinking of that. What we'd like to do is we'd like to get an actor, a paid actor, to read out the Bible passages you want. And so the way it's going to work is this. He's going to come in on Wednesdays, and you give him the Bible passages that you want read out for your live radio show on Sunday. And I said, but it will have occurred to you as it occurs to me, it's a live radio show. So I don't know what people want to talk about until they phone in. Well, they said that's a very weak argument. That we're not going to let that argument stop us professionalizing the recording of the Bible. So you just tell us what bits you want read and we'll have them recorded. You can't read them, but you can have the actor do it. And I said, you're gagging me. This is obviously, no, we're professionalizing you. So I said, if you do this, I'm not going to be put in a position where I'm no longer allowed to read out from the Bible in response to what people ask when they phone in on a phone-in show. And they said, you have no choice. And I said, well, okay, in that case, I resign. So then they said, but you mustn't tell people why you've resigned. You can resign, but I tell you what, you can come back and have another radio show if you don't tell people what you resigned. And so I thought I was being very principled, giving up my radio show for Jesus on principle. And to tell you the truth, I was very excited about being let back in 2 years' time and given another crack at it. So stupidly, naively, egotistically, I said, okay, I won't tell people why you've made me resign. So then I found myself 2 years later on the island of Jersey, and there was a BBC studio there, and it was populated by people who'd been my colleagues and friends. We knew them all from conferences. And I went and knocked on the door and said, hi, guys, I'm in Jersey. Any work? Hoping they'd say, oh, the great Ashenden is here. Let's give him a radio show. And they said, go away. You can't come into the building. And I said, I can? No, you're on a blacklist. You're not allowed on BBC property. I said, but they promised me. They promised me a radio show if I went quietly. No, you can't come across the door. You're blacklisted. Get out.
Wow.
I felt so stupid, but and I was. And then every time, as things are now, I get phoned up by BBC producers saying, Dr. Ashenden, will you come on this program to discuss something? And I say, yes, I will. And then 3 hours before the program goes out, they phone me back and say, we're under rescheduling pressure. The item isn't going to take place anymore. And for the first 2 or 3 times, I used to think, wow, there's a lot of rescheduling pressure in the BBC. But as it happens every single time, they ask me. What happens is a junior producer gets me in because they think I've got something to say, and then someone who runs a blacklist says, you can't have Ashenden on. He's not. Anyway, so I'm now very pleased I'm on YouTube, because otherwise I would be blacklisted.
Well, that must give you great satisfaction to see our YouTube is finally passing the BBC.
It really does.
And I do believe that gap will continue to grow.
I'm sure.
That's the trend. So,
well, for sure, you won't get a conversation like the one we're having anywhere on the BBC. I mean,
that's for sure.